What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Officer Hawk here, back with another video. So, if you can read the thumbnail, you'll see I'm giving you some new gun tips. Meaning, if you're going to buy a new firearm, I'm gonna give you some tips and tips and tricks to save you a couple dollars. Okay. So, being a gun owner, somewhat of a gun collector, we all find ourselves in the same rabbit hole. We get a new gun. The first thing we want to do is go add a whole bunch of unnecessary bull crap to it, do all this and do all that. And I know it's a lot of us do it. I have a lot of close friends who are, part of the 2A community, a lot of friends and family who, when they buy a new gun, the first thing they want to go do is add this, that, and the third, blase, blase, which there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that many of day, okay, many of guns. And when I look back on it, I made a lot of mistakes. I added stuff, a lot of trial and error. There's nothing wrong with that. But the first thing you should do, you buy a gun. One, figure out the purpose before you even buy this gun. Figure out the purpose of this gun. Figure out where this gun is going to fit at in your life. Meaning, if you're going to buy it for home defense, self-defense, work, truck gun, hunting, there's many different reasons why you would buy a gun. Or if it's just to collect a gun, just say, hey, I like this gun, I just want to just do a build or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But purpose, that's number one. That's the number one tip I can help you with. Figure out the purpose of this gun. And 9 times out of 10, what has stopped me from buying unnecessary weapons, unnecessary guns, or just unnecessary stuff in general, attachments, whatever, is if it didn't fit a purpose. If it was just to collect, okay, cool, it's just to collect. But I'm like, hey, what is the honest purpose of this gun? And if I couldn't think of one, okay, cool. Let me save myself some money and let me just say no to this gun. Let me go fix up another gun I have already. Okay. 2, when you go buy a new gun, before you add anything to it, go shoot it in its stock form. Okay. Go shoot the gun. Okay. The best attachment or accessory you can add to your gun is ammo. Ammo. Go spend some trigger time. Go shoot that gun. Go shoot it, and shoot it some more. Anytime you buy a new gun, now if you get past the purpose part, now you have to have your reason for having the gun. Go train with it. Go get some TNT. Go train with it. T&E with it. Go train with it. Train and evaluate this gun. See where this gun, okay, you know the purpose, or you have a purpose that you want to have this purpose for this gun. Go T&E with it. Go train and evaluate this gun. Go shoot this gun. Go to the range. Go get you some ammo. There's plenty of cheap ammo out here. Go get you some ammo. Go put some rounds down range. Go shoot. Now, when you go shoot, the top 3 things you want to look at while you're shooting. 1, trigger squeeze. Everybody talk about trigger these days. That's why people hate Glock, because they say from the factory the trigger is terrible. So you got people that throw in these little Apex triggers or these flat facing triggers. You want to figure out if you're gonna like that trigger or not, because that trigger or not is it's gonna get you to part 2. Part 2 is you want to see how accurate this gun is. You want to see if you actually gonna be able to put rounds on paper, get somebody up off you. 3, you want to see if you're actually comfortable with this gun. You want to see if you're comfortable shooting this gun. You want to see if you're going to be comfortable carrying this gun. Okay, those 3 things, when you're going to the range, you should be putting a minimum of 300 to 500 rounds minimum to a break-in period. Even if you bought the gun used, you want to shoot at least 500 rounds for this gun before you can say minimum. You should be shooting more, but minimum for average Joe, 500 rounds minimum, to see if this is going to be a gun that you can actually carry or defend yourself with, or whatever purpose you got for this gun. Okay. Now, if you got to collect the item, all this stuff voice there. If you got to collect the gun, this was John Dillinger's original gun. This was whoever original, whatever. Okay, cool. Just it's gonna be in the safe. It's gonna be in the cabinet somewhere. Okay, cool, whatever. But I'm talking about for the people that's actually going to work this gun. This gun is actually going to have a job, a 9 to 5. This gun is going to be getting some sweat, some elbow grease, you want to go work that trigger. You want to go put some rounds down range, shoot, 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 shoot. Now, after you have done this and you looked at the big three, it's going to tell you exactly what you need on this gun. You're going to figure out if you're going to want to put a optic on it. You're going to figure out if you want to put a flashlight on it. You're going to figure out what kind of holster you want for this gun. You're going to figure out what this gun is going to fit at in your life, and it's still going to take you back to step one, purpose. You're going to figure out exactly the gun is going to tell you what it needs. Okay. Because you get some people who, and we all have fell down that rabbit hole where we see a gun, cool, the first thing I'm going to do when I get home, I'm going to order a whole bunch of parts and slap them on. And then we go to range, and then guess what? We back to square one. Now you got to figure out what other parts you're going to put on it, because these parts may have not fit, or these parts may not be comfortable. So now you got to start all over. Okay. So, like I said, you want to get T&E with this gun. Train and evaluate this gun. You want to train, because it's going to tell you exactly what it needs. Okay. People, I can't tell you how much money I have wasted on builds. I remember my first AR build, right? Shout out to my cousin, Big Dog. I'm not going to say his government name. Shout out to him, because he have taught me a lot of stuff. Like I say this all the time. I give credit when due. Him and my father, I've saved a lot of money and learned a lot in this 2A community stuff, okay? I remember I would go to him and bother him all the time. Hey, dude, what should I add? Should I do this? Should I do that? Show me websites, show me ways to save money with this stuff. And I'm trying to give some of these tips. I can't give y'all all the sauce, because I got to keep, some secrets. Okay. But um, I remember he was saying, hey, you know, pretty much in so many words, I don't want to say his words verbatim, but pretty much in so many words, there are so many different ways you can achieve your goal with buying guns or being a gun owner without breaking the bank or going off the how can I say it? Going off the wave of what everybody else is doing. Okay. So with that being said, I remember my first AR build. I remember I didn't know what to do. I know about guns. I know how to take apart a gun. I know how to clean a gun, but I didn't know exactly. I didn't know the difference. Like my first AR was a Diamondback 15, DB15. It had a free floating barrel, 16-inch barrel, Magpul rail. I was lost. I didn't know the difference between the Magpul rail and the Picatinny rail. I knew about AR, but I didn't know about that stuff. So I literally went to Range USA when it used to be shoot point blank. I went there. I bought the gun. I bought the optic, because this was after I graduated academy. I was out the FTO at the time, so I just wanted to buy a whole bunch of stuff, and I wanted AR. So I bought the gun. I bought a few magazines. I bought like 100 rounds of ammo, and I bought a optic for all this stuff. Right. Went home. I just slapped a whole bunch of stuff on. Slapped it on. And that gun looked terrible. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like complete. It looked like exactly the situation I am. A young guy. I was 23 at the time. So like about 3.5 years ago. Young guy who just wanted an AR and didn't know what the heck he was doing. Just threw a whole bunch of stuff together. But I remember with that process, right? After adding on that stuff on, I went to the range, and I went, I think, 3 or 4 times within a 2 week period. I just kept going to go shoot. I kept going to go shoot. Went with my dad. Went with my coworker. I can't even say coworker. My best friend. He's my ex supervisor. Matt. Shout out to you, big dog. Went with him. I literally just kept going to the range. Kept shooting. I got a lot of T&E. I think I probably had put at that around that time about 300 some rounds within that 2 or 3 week process. And once I put the rounds in, exactly what I'm telling you all. I'm not just trying to say this, to sound good or just for content. This is honest. This is honest stuff. This is stuff that I went through, trial and error I went through to help you all save, help you all have less of a headache. I went to the range, shot, and I found a lot of stuff that was messed up on. One, I had, I didn't know you had to sight in an optic. I thought when you got an optic or a laser, I thought it came sighted in. You just look down the scope and tell you where to shoot. So I had to go buy a bore sighter. Shout out to my cousin Big Dog for that. He said, hey man, get you a bore sighter. He said it'll save you a lot of money on just shooting rounds, unnecessary rounds that may not be on target. Got a bore sighter, sighted in. I was right on target. I had like a little SIG Romeo something. It was like the little $90 optic. That optic, believe it or not, was actually pretty stout. That thing was, that optic hold a zero. I put that optic on like 3 or 4 different ARs within a year period, and it held up. Okay, so I had everything that I put on that gun. I ended up just taking off. I took off and started from ground zero. One, I learned I needed a better stock, because from factory you go buy a lot of these factory ARs. They come factory with that Black Hawk stock that moves and rattles and everything. So I ended up getting a new stock. Then most ARs come with that little small pistol grip. I got big hands, and I'm changing that, switching out for a Magpul grip. Then I realized, hey, I would like to have a foregrip just to get a better grip on the gun, and I put a Magpul foregrip on it. And then I ended up putting a flashlight on it. So that was eventually when I ended up selling the gun to one of my local gun shops to get another gun. But when I sold that gun, it kind of like set the precedence for everything. Every AR that I own after that was simple, simple. A good optic, a decent optic, whatever optic that works, that holds zero, a foregrip, a good pistol grip, and a flashlight. That's all I need on a gun. Now, if you put extra stuff on your AR, that's cool to you. That's cool for you. That's good for you. That's what works for me. And it saved me a lot of money. And I have a lot of fun when I take my ARs to the range, because I don't have all this unnecessary stuff that's falling off or that I have to keep on checking on. It's literally my guns are able to function. So I'm trying to tell you guys, T&E, train with your guns. Train, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. Another thing, holsters. So when it comes to pistols, and one thing my cousin Big Dog once again said, hey, Cuzzo, if you do nothing else, get you a good holster. So there are people that will probably, by the end of their life or the end of their gun community life, they will probably spend more money on holsters than they will on ammo, which is sad. And I became one of those people, because I would go on Amazon. This holster looks cool. Let me get it. And I can tell you, half them holsters that I used to get, or that I would try to use, or because it looked cool, or it's leather and it's this, that, and the third, I don't even use them holsters. Let me show you something. This is a holster. I had this on my EDC video. This gun is unloaded. Don't worry. Um, I've had this holster, the same holster as the little, laugh at me now if you want, little cheap Amazon holster, right? This holster is about 40, $50. I have had this holster for 3.5 years now. Okay, when I decided to put a flashlight on my Glock 21, and I carry this holster, believe it or not, I have an outside the waistband holster for this guy. I have like a couple of them, right? This holster has held up longer than almost than any other holster I've had. And I've had many holsters for this gun, but it works and it's comfortable. And I'm able to carry a full size 45 ACP with no problem. So, like I said, getting back to the tips and tricks. First thing you want to look at when you want to go buy a new gun: purpose. What purpose will this gun have for you in your life? Okay. Trigger time. Get as much trigger time as you can. And then the third and final thing, then that's when you want to put your attachments or make this gun fit for you and work for you. Okay. And the fourth thing, enjoy the gun. Enjoy the gun. Because I'm in a lot of gun groups on Facebook, on Reddit. I look at even some gun forums, because I know gun forums have kind of like, went away since social media is pretty prevalent now. And I look at a lot of gun forums, and a lot of these gun forums are very, very, very toxic. I'll post a picture with one of my ARs with a sight mark on it, or I'll post a picture with one of my guns with a Olight on it, and I will get bullied. I will get mauled. And I tell people all the time, if something works for somebody, and trust me, I don't put nothing on my gun that does not work, or that does not have, that's not going to get the job done. Okay. And people will go with the mass majority. Okay. So It's like if all your friends got a Ford and you pull up in a Dodge, everybody's going to claim, man, you got a Dodge. Your car's going to break down. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Because that's what the mass majority is going to say, right? Like everybody that's voted for Trump. Oh, you're a Trump supporter. You're a Trump supporter. You're going to hate. You're going to hell. You're going to this. You're going to that. Because I decided to do something different from what the norms does. Okay. With this gun stuff, I refuse to bankrupt myself. Okay. I have a family. I have bills. Yeah, I make pretty decent money being a law enforcement officer, but I have bills. I'm a young man, but I have grown man responsibility and grown man bills. I refuse to bankrupt myself. Now I love guns, I love shooting, but I love being able to have financial freedom, and I love being able to take care of my family first and foremost. So this gun crap, this comes third, fourth, or whatever in my priorities list. Okay. So with that being said, if I can find something, you can eat me alive in the comment section. I don't care. If I can find a tool that can be cheaper but still get the job done and do exactly everything I need to do and check off all my boxes, guess what? I'm going to use that. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to love it. So, like I said, another thing, people, do not get intimidated by this gun community. It's like any other communities, like the car community. You can have a Mustang, and people will laugh at you because you got BBK headers on it. Oh, you got some cheap headers. Why you didn't go with Corsa? Why you didn't go with American Racing? Because it's cheaper and it's still loud, it still drives. And guess what? When I get to the steakhouse and you get to the steakhouse, guess what? Well, when I get to the restaurant, you get to the restaurant, I'll be able to afford a steak. And guess what? You'll be able to afford a salad because you care more about a brand versus the actual function of it. So that's another thing. People do not become a brand, you know what, to this gun community stuff. I see that happens a lot. People go, oh, I'm gonna go get me if it ain't Trijicon, if it ain't Surefire, if it ain't this, it ain't that, I don't want it. Okay, that's cool. Well, if this of the brand is if there's other brands that does the same exact thing that you need to do, guess what? I'm going to use it. Okay. So those are my tips and tricks that I use. It has saved me a lot of money and a lot of headache, and kept me out of a lot of trouble. So, people, once again, make sure the gun has a purpose. Make sure you get some trigger time with this gun. Make sure you get the right attachment and the right stuff that you need. And fourth, and the most important thing, enjoy your purpose and enjoy your purchase. It is your purchase. This is your firearm. Be safe with it. Make sure when it's not in if it's not in your holster or it's not on your person, make sure this is the most important thing. Make sure the gun is locked up. Make sure the gun is away from people, your children, etc., etc. Make sure that you're practicing proper gun safety. Okay, people? God bless.